Athletes, welcome back. We're changing it up on you a little bit, and we are starting a how-to series to answer questions or just give you some points of performance on movements that you may have questions about and you either don't have access to a coach or a gym, or maybe it's too intimidating going to the gym. So we got your back. We want you guys to be interactive with this and give us feedback on movements you would like to see and questions that you have on particular movements. Athletes, we have the burpee today. So we got tips and tricks to help you out with figuring out a way to make burpees easier, if that's possible, and it is. So I'm gonna bring Noah in, and what Noah's gonna do, simplest thing in the world, he's gonna go ahead and give us 2 burpees. So 2 burpees at a 3/4 view to the camera. With our burpees, we're making sure that we're standing tall at the top, and then we're making contact with our chest and floor at the bottom. Now, you've seen the clapping standard, and there have been questions before, how high do I jump? How do I need to clap? The purpose of the clap at the top is to get you open with your hips and your lower body. It's difficult to get into this position and then also clap and jump. So that's why that standard is there. When we're looking at the burpee, we need to make sure that we get off of the floor in some fashion. The mistake is jumping too high, and we're gonna go over all this in just a moment. So I'm gonna have Noah move back out for me. And so what we're gonna think about doing here is, and this is the normal way that I will coach this movement is that when people go down, they tend to squat into a burpee. So show me a squatty burpee. Noah, good. And then go all the way down. And then jump back into that squat and stand all the way up. Good, give me another one at speed. So the issue with this is that you're placing a large emphasis on the quads. So what I'm gonna have Noah do is he's gonna step back out. He's gonna take his feet a little bit wider, and he's gonna stance himself out so he can hinge at the hip. So I want him to go ahead and hinge at the hip and then back down and then hop back up. Good. And you can notice that he's doing a good job of keeping his back in a pretty good position as we go through this movement. The idea of this is making this more efficient by working less, because that way we're gonna be able to do more. Now, when we get back into this burpee, the next thing that we're gonna see is that somebody that worms off of the floor. So if we're gonna go all the way down, and I want you to just peel yourself off that floor. Peel even more. There you go. And so what we're thinking about this is that the peel off the floor is something that you'll utilize when you're in your final reps. But what we think about doing is that we want to find a happy medium between a full push-up and that worm position. And typically that's going to get pretty close to a knee push-up, which we've talked about in the push-up series. So we're going to go back down, and what we're going to see from Noah is show me a burpee that's got a strict push-up in it. This is another one where you're gonna be blowing up that upper body. So what we wanna do is Goldilocks it, get it right in the middle. And so what I'm gonna have him do is we've got those stanced out legs, so we're hinging at the hips, and then we're going down, we're falling with style. So Buzz Lightyear here, and we're making sure that we're getting down to the ground. He's not lowering himself down slowly, but he's controlling it down to the floor. And that's what we want to look for with the burpee. Making sure that you're focused on breathing as well, because for some reason, unknown to man, animal, or anyone else, people hold their breath on burpees, which is the worst possible thing that you can do. Lastly, with our burpees, if these are too difficult for us to do with the dynamic version of jumping back or jumping up, we can always step back. So when we go through, I'm gonna have Noah go into a step back burpee. He puts his hands to the floor, he goes down, and he steps up. And the other way that we can work on modifying this is that if we take this and we do a burpee to a box. So we can take an elevated surface and we can go down similar to how we did in our push-up series and making contact there. Burpees are not something that's super complicated, so don't try to make them something that they're not. With this, focus on finding a way that works well for you, because everybody's body is a little bit different, so your positioning is gonna be a little bit different than anybody else's. With those burpees, we're looking at finding that hip hinge so we can get down to the floor and then fall with style to the ground. Make sure you don't mess that face up, and then you're gonna hop back up, clap overhead, and that is your burpee. Thank you so much for showing up today. Remember, if you got any questions or comments, something we didn't cover today, throw it in the comments below. You got a movement that you want to see us cover and you got questions on that movement, throw it in the comments down below. And as always, be good, be kind, and join us again for another great day of fitness.